Time for another warm-up coming at you, getting you ready for your workout. Stick with me through this. We're going to be starting to get our heart rates up, starting to get a good sweat rolling. So here we go. We're going to start this off with just some high knees. So just going to be jogging in place, just nice and easy. We'll be picking up intensity as this warm-up goes on. But for right now, just thinking about taking a little bit of jog through the park, just a little bit of that in-place run. As you're going through any of these movements, if they're not feeling awesome for you, pick a different movement. Squatting is always a great one to revert back to. As we're going through this, all we're looking to do is get warm for your workout. These particular movements are nothing magical about them. It is just making sure that you're taking the time to warm up. We're going to turn that into some butt kickers. So bring the heels to the backside and landing nice and soft, taking this at your own speed, realizing that this is just the beginning of your workout today. And speaking of squats, let's find that squat stance, feet anywhere between hip to shoulder width apart. We're gonna send our hips back and butt down, just working into the first squats of the day. Probably not the last. I really like using squatting as a way to warm up because it gets the entire body, especially the lower body, moving, and we squat almost every day in our regular normal life. Taking a little bit more squat here in 3, 2, 1. All right, we're gonna be standing tall, turning that into some alternating lunges, just stepping back, dropping the back knee down. Same thing, back and forth from side to side. You continue with these lunges. I'm gonna take a couple breaths. A lot of moving, a lot of talking all at the same time. Again, just following along with me as we work through this warm-up, taking that time, making sure you can get the most out of your workout. All right, we're gonna take a nice wide stance, our Cossack squat, sending hips back and over to one side, back and over to the other side. Should feel a really good stretch on the inside of that straight leg. Taking a couple deep breaths. Making sure the heart rate stays under control. Should have a nice little sweat going here by the time we finish this off, but nothing too crazy. Just getting into our first couple minutes here together. All right, as you go ahead, we're gonna stand back tall. Arms gonna go out to the side. We're gonna make some nice tight arm circles forward. Again, breathing nice and deep. As I'm working these arm circles, I'm pinching my shoulder blades back together. That's where a lot of our activation comes from. Let's get those a little bit wider. And a little bit bigger even yet. Kind of hitting that full range of motion, just working through the shoulder joints, taking a few swings back and forth. I like to call these the Michael Phelps swing. Pat yourself on the back, however you want to work it today. It's going to be just fine. All right, palms going to face up. Same thing now in reverse though. So palms facing up, getting those arm circles in reverse. Continuing to pinch your shoulder blades back together. Again, that's where the activation comes from. We'll get those arm circles a little bit bigger yet. Still not quite full range of motion. And we'll hit a couple of those full range of motion. Finding a little bit of room here. We're gonna be getting into our inchworm. So walking our hands all the way out to the top of plank, going for a push-up and walking them on back. As we stand tall, walking back on out, feeling a good stretch to the hamstrings, adding a push-up in at the bottom because, hey, why the heck not? You're gonna continue going through these at home. Just keep working your pace on that push-up. If you need to drop to the knees, do it. This warm-up is a great time to continue building strength and getting some good reps in. Those push-ups are a movement that are always hard for so many people, and this is a great way to build in some volume and to build in some practice without even getting into the main portion of our workout. Let's take 2 more inchworms. Again, taking that push-up at the bottom and walking on back. All the way out, pushing up, and coming all the way back on up. If you need to grab something for some balance, feel free. Right now, we're just gonna be taking one knee, pulling it in towards the chest, and then going over to the other side. Just gonna be going back and forth, opening up through the hips. Get a little hamstring stretch in here as well. Take 2 more here per side, so 4 more total. Hope you're impressed with my mental math. All right, same thought process this time though. We're gonna be pulling our heel to our backside, so grabbing the top of your foot, Again, if you need a little balance, feel free. You can see I'm using the post and the wall. Balance is a little bit off today, but that's okay. Take 2 more per side. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Very similar. Again, grab a post if we need it, grab a wall, whatever you have around. We're gonna be pulling our foot up. We're gonna be bringing that to the inside of our body, so we're feeling a stretch now in our hips. So nothing too crazy here. If this is hurting your knees by any means, please ease off of it. These stretches are meant to do just that, stretch. You should not be feeling any pain associated with this. If you're tight, you might feel a little bit uncomfortable. That's okay, but it shouldn't be any sharp pain or anything along those lines. We'll go 1 more here per side and finishing off on that last one. We're gonna go ahead, finding that squat stance once again, dropping down into those squats. They should feel a little bit better now. I know mine do. We got some good movement in the lower body. 3, 2, 1. Turn that into some jump touches. We're just jumping up overhead. Just a nice even bound. Think if we were doing jump ropes, we could be doing that same thing down by the side. You can use your pretend jump rope if that makes you happy today. I'm okay with that. The pretend jump rope's a little bit easier anyways. Or that jump touch. All right, we're gonna combine those 2 movements. We're gonna be going a squat and exploding up for a squat jump. Landing nice and soft. These get the lower body burning, the heart rate up. We're going for 3, 2, 1. On that last one, we'll shake those legs out. I hope they burned a little bit for you because they were burning for me. Starting with a wide stance, hands come up overhead, and then reaching those down between the legs. Up overhead, and down. Taking some big deep breaths, bring our heart rate down a little bit as we finish off our warm up today. We get 1 more stretch in here together. I could use a post, we could also use a wall, or if you're familiar with a cactus stretch lying on the ground, that's a great one too. Using my hand on a post, this could easily be a door frame for you. We're gonna have a little bit of a bend in our elbow and then pressing away. I feel really good stretch in my shoulder here on the right side. We can also do this up against the wall or on the ground too if you're familiar with that cactus stretch. Taking a few of those deep breaths. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, whether it's a door frame, doorway, wall, or on the ground. Any of those options are good options. As long as we're feeling a stretch to the chest, we're in a good spot. Getting yourself primed, ready. We've got your main portion of your workout coming right up here next. All right, I hope you've got a little bit of a sweat going. Remember, we talk about it all the time at the end of each warm-up. Stay consistent. If you're doing the right things, the results will always follow. Enjoy this workout, make the most of it. Have an awesome workout.